Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolebarger and welcome to this week's KFIR Middle East Updates, the week of July 21st. And we're going to jump right in, but make sure you go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com. I know we won't have enough time to get through all this material, and you can access the PDF PowerPoint that's complete with photos and pictures, etc. So what's going on in Israel and the Middle East this week? These are the headlines. As you know, this presentation is going to be dominated primarily with what events transpired last Friday. The killing of two Israeli police, happened to be Druze, close to the Lion's Gate, and then the assailants were shot down on the Temple Mount itself. And so barbaric terrorist activity. Of course, Jordan comes out, lawmakers there, they praise the Temple Mount terrorists, quotes, martyrs who watered the land with their blessed blood. As you know, right now what's taken place is that it's a volatile area. It is waiting to erupt. Should not catch us off guard. We know that this is ground zero. When it comes to the end of days, keep your eyes on Jerusalem. More on this story later. Netanyahu's making it clear that this Russian U.S. Ceasefire arrangement, not really in favor of all the everything that's coming out of this. He's just wanting to make some bullet statements at this time that Israel will not allow Iranian foothold on the Israeli-Syrian border. No way, no how. So we'll get more about that a little bit later. And then voters in the U.S. see what we've been talking about over the last month. The rise of anti-Semitism is a serious problem in the U.S. A new poll finds that 65% of U.S. voters think that anti-Semitism is at least somewhat of a serious problem in America today. Now, back to the main story. Two Israeli police guards killed. In an extraordinary brazen assault early last Friday, 3 Arab citizens of Israel were armed with guns and knives, and they killed 2 Israeli police officers guarding the Lion's Gate, the entrance up into the Temple Mount there. And police officers then pursued the assailants inside the compound, up on the Temple Mount site itself, and all 3 were gunned down and killed. The names of the Israelis that were killed: Druze, Halil Satawi, 30 years old, and Kamil Shanan, 22 years old. As I mentioned, both were Druze. Satawi leaves behind a wife and a 3-week-old son. Shanan is the son of former MK Ze'ev Shanan, and the funerals were massive, held right after, as you probably know, in Israel. Next day, funerals, thousands turned out in support. It's come to light that Hayel was not supposed to be on patrol on Friday. He filled in for a friend. And then the former MK son, Shakiv Shanat, he makes the quote, or the comment, that even on this most difficult day, I'm saying enough blood, enough war. And then Police Commissioner Ronnie Ashkalea has made the statement that both these men died while defending Jerusalem. And so I just want you to see their pictures. I want us to remember them. And then all for the next few minutes here, all the things that are surrounding this event. Hamas chimes in, the WAF, there were weapons found. So Hamas on Saturday called on Palestinians to attack Israeli security forces and settlers after the shooting attack on the Temple Mount on Friday. On Saturday, the U.S., the White House, condemned the attack in a strongly worded statement. The people of the United States are heartbroken regarding the terrorists brutally shooting down and gunning down the 2 Israeli police officers. There must be zero tolerance for terrorism. And then, as I mentioned, after closing down the Temple Mount, there was a search for weapons. Weapons were hidden in the holy site. Police now believe that the weapons used for Friday's Temple Mount terror attack were hidden in the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Police are investigating to see if the terrorists received any inside help, specifically from WAF officials who may have hidden the weapons. There were 2 machine guns, a pistol, and knives that were found there. And again, because of all this, it was shut down for a couple days. And again, dynamite, gas on the fire, exploding in terms of major protests that were going on. The Muslim Religious Authority, the WAF, charged with managing the Temple Mount, joined with other Islamic groups on Monday to call on Muslims to reject and boycott all the Israeli aggression measures, as they call it. What they did is they put up metal detectors. And so, as you can see in the pictures, the WAF has called on the faithful, quote, not to enter the mosque, but by passing through the metal detectors, that is, adding that if the metal detectors continue to be imposed, we call upon the people to pray in front of the gates of the mosque and in the streets of Jerusalem. If you ask me, keep them out. Let them just lay on the ground and pray outside the Temple Mount. This is getting to be absolutely ridiculous. And so the next article is entitled Time for a Change. We'll have to wait and see, because I said this is the powder keg, right? Crosshairs, bullseye, the Temple Mount. So is a change going to occur? Public Security Minister Gilad Erdan and Jerusalem Affairs Minister Ze'ev Elkin, quote, they were wanting to challenge the status quo of the past 50 years by which the WAF has managed the site. Cultural Minister Miri Regev has called to reduce the WAF's area of responsibility simply to the Al-Aqsa Mosque alone, and not to the entire mount, and to open the area to all at all times of the day. This next article says stay tuned, because that's moderate in comparison to what Avi Diker of Likud, one of the MKs in Likud, said on Tuesday. He went on to say that the Islamic WAF's jurisdiction over the Temple Mount is over, and Israel will now work to establish or reestablish Jewish sovereignty over the holy site. The question of our policy at the Temple Mount, this is a direct quote from Deichner, may not be clear to the Palestinians, but it's very clear to us. The Temple Mount will remain under the control of the Israeli police. Now, should Israel use the unexpected opportunity to take back complete control of the Temple Mount, the significance and the implications would be, it's beyond imagination. And as I often say, these are the days in which we are living. Okay? Today. This is not just 48 or 67. These are the events that are transpiring today. And if you've been to Jerusalem, if you've been to the Temple Mount, you can feel it. You can sense what a powder keg this area happens to be. Well, new article. Unfortunately, same type of story. The Palestinian terrorist budget for 2017 shows what? A huge increase in the funding of salaries for imprisoned terrorists and the family of martyrs. According to the Palestinian Media Watch, the amount of money allocated by the PA for payments to terrorists jailed in Israel rose 13% to 158 million compared to 135 million in 2016. During the same time frame, disbursements for family members of dead terrorists increased by 4%. Overall, the Palestinian Media Watch said that the PA is spending $355 million this year on direct funding of terrorists. I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the Senate right now is the Taylor Force Act, undoubtedly, which basically is calling on the U.S. to cease any funding of the PA as long as these payments are being given out to murderers. And so it's a crazy, intense time in which we're living. We'll have to wait and see. From what I hear, this Taylor Force Act is going to pass by way more than just a majority. And will we cease to pay or to fund the Palestinians? And what will the repercussions be of that? Once again, as you've heard me say so often, stay tuned. I'm going to let you read on your own the ceasefire. Netanyahu has, the Syrian ceasefire, Netanyahu has commented on this. He's opposed the deal brokered by the U.S. and Russia, saying that it does not sufficiently address the whole Iranian military ambitions in the area. So check that article out. The embassy move, KFIR just had a huge conference in D.C. and Pence, our vice president, reassured the KFIR crowd that it's only a matter of time until Trump moves the embassy to Jerusalem. His quote, "I promise you that the day will come when President Donald Trump will move the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem," Pence said to a loud response or applause, quote, "It's not a question of if, it is only when." Now I wonder what the implications of that move will be. And then Bibi Netanyahu spoke to the Christian gathering, evangelical gathering, and I've been to KFIR before. I've seen the video feed from Netanyahu, and again, I think with all sincerity, Netanyahu's quote is, "When I say that we have no greater friends than Christian supporters of Israel, I know you've always stood with us." And again, you can imagine the response of that. He continued on to say, "And Israel has no better friend in America," and he doesn't mention Trump at all to this group, "than evangelicals that are standing with and together with Israel today." You'll see the quote of the week from Anne Frank. And again, let me remind you that we have an upcoming tour, which we call Off the Beaten Path. Check it out. We've got a couple seats left that we need to fill out. So if you're interested in that trip, please contact us right away. So with that, let me wish you a good Shabbat Shalom. And remember to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And keep your eyes open as to what is actually taking place. God bless you all.